Hey guys, tired of feeling stuck in your dating life and striking out in the dating game? You're not alone. Maybe you just need some good coaching. Welcome to Just Ask Her, the no BS podcast for real dating advice straight from a woman's point of view. Dating expert Gracie Pleschourt and her co-host, certified life coach Tracy Pleschourt, are here to give you the play-by-play on how to attract more women you're interested in. So, let's take back control of your dating life. This is Just Ask Her.
Welcome back to episode 5 of Just Ask Her, Christmas edition. Merry Christmas 2024.
Merry Christmas, you guys. I did my part and wore my Christmas sweater.
Oh my God. How do you not think that this is Christmassy?
Just because it's the right colors? You said a Christmas sweater.
This is a sweater and it's red and white. It looks like a candy cane.
Well, I actually wore a light up Home Alone Christmas sweater.
That's not lit up.
Because I didn't turn it on. It's going to be too distracting.
So this is a special episode.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not apparently dressed appropriately.
Yeah. It was her idea, I might add.
Yeah. I am excited about this episode because we are going to do some do's and don'ts for guys who are wanting to change their dating life, especially during the holiday season.
Yeah, all about the holiday season. Holiday do's and don'ts for dating.
What else?
I did some polls and asked some questions on Instagram last week in regards to the holidays. And so we're going to share the results of all of those. Some of them are super interesting. And then we'll also do our regular kind of listener submissions, kind of talk through those as well. But yeah, we wanted to do something a little bit fun, a little bit more fun this time. So I figured I would poll some of you guys on my social media and see what you guys come up with. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So this is the second Christmas where we have had a boyfriend and or a girlfriend join us for the holidays. So I feel like I'm kind of getting into that new mindset of like having expanded our family and you know, we have 2 extra stockings hung. We include them in our extended family gift giving traditions. And so as you were asking me about like the do's and don'ts, it was so easy to give like my generational perspective on, you know, how to quote unquote fit in as maybe a new, you know, or an outsider in with a new family.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about that. As always, I'm excited to talk about some of the submissions. I absolutely love the fact that these men put so much time and effort and thoughtfulness into these submissions. So I feel good that we can return with a thoughtful answer. And we do get several of them writing back to us and telling us how, you know, it all unfolded or giving us, you know, kind of keeping us in the loop.
Yeah.
We're going to start adding that to our newsletter. So if you are somebody that gets to be featured on the podcast, don't forget to follow up with how our advice or our coaching may have or haven't helped you yet. We would love to be able to feature you if you know, are interested in that.
Yeah.
In our newsletter. So
Totally.
Just a couple other things to kind of mention.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that this is such an interesting time of year. I think you really see people's true colors when it comes to the holidays and like you get to see kind of how they interact with family, how they interact with friends they haven't seen in a while. You also get to see how they handle like the stress of the holidays. And so it can be a lot, especially for a new relationship. So for anybody that is in a new relationship or just started seeing somebody, like give yourself some grace when it comes to this time of year, because this can be really stressful. And hopefully we give you some guidance on that in the do's and don'ts section of today. But I just think that this is a time of year where people tend to panic more than any other time of year. It tends you're around a lot of people that you're not usually around, whether it's friends or family or whoever. You're back in your hometowns, and whatever feelings or unwanted feelings that may come with that. Hopefully this episode will kind of give you a new perspective on how to navigate this time. Also, for the people who aren't in a relationship, I think that this, like we talked about last week or on last week's episode, this can be a really lonely time for the holidays. And we'll talk a little bit about that in some of the questions that I asked on social media, some of the answers I got. And I just want you to know that it's like, you're not alone. There are lots of people who are single for the holidays. And like we said last week, this should be a time that you still enjoy. And so it's really being intentional about what makes you happy, what brings you joy in this time of year, regardless of your relationship status.
One of the most powerful things that you can do for yourself is to gift yourself the joy. Like whatever it is that you are needing, be able to fulfill that need
for yourself.
Yeah. And I don't think that this is something that very many of us learn as, a young person, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do. And it really requires you to slow down and ask yourself, like, what is it that I need? Is it, I need love? Is it, I need to be heard? Is it, I need to be understood? What is it? Ask yourself, what is it that you need? And how can I create that for myself? How can I not have to rely on somebody else to create it for me?
Totally.
And I think that, so many of the, movies, rom-coms out there create this persona, this, perspective that you're looking for somebody to fill that. It kind of goes back to that Jerry Maguire, you complete me. We kind of come off the start line looking for that person who's going to do it for us.
Yeah.
And if you can learn to be the person who does it for yourself, I'm not necessarily talking about, doing the physical activities. Like, I think about a lot of the single women I know who have to go out and shovel their own driveway, or they have to do all of the cooking, or they have to, maybe they have to hang the Christmas lights or put up the Christmas tree. I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm talking about creating kind of the emotional wellness that we all need. If you are feeling lonely, and what you need is to feel loved or feel a sense of self-trust, you can create that for yourself.
Yeah.
But you can't if you don't know that that's what you need in the first place.
Right.
So slowing down and really kind of having a heightened sense of awareness around what it is that you need is the first step in the right direction. And I know that that's a lot, what I just said. It's can come off a little woo-woo, but I promise you it will help so much in kind of bridging the gap of this season. Like it's going to help you navigate this season in a much easier, thoughtful way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So hopefully this kind of stands as a good reminder. We are so excited to hang out with you on Christmas. If you're listening to this on Christmas and you're feeling a little lonely, we're here for you. We're excited to be here with you. And just know that we know how hard this time of year can be, but you're not alone. And we really encourage you to start finding the things that bring you joy and committing to them right now for yourself.
Yeah. I was on a coaching call this morning with a client, and we were really like pulling apart kind of the think, feel, act cycle, and we kind of got to the actions. And I kept challenging her to come up. She wants to like declutter her home in preparation for Christmas, and I kept challenging her to come up with more like thoughtful actions that would really support her in getting this project done. And finally she was like, what would really help outside of like setting a timer, which is always a great, best practice if you want to get something done. But she's like, turning on Christmas music. And she's like, the last few times I've turned on a Christmas station, they've been playing kind of more like popular pop culture Christmas music, not necessarily the traditional Christmas music. And she's like, it totally makes me want to like get up and dance. And I was like, perfect. So it's things like that you wouldn't normally do if it wasn't the holidays, so or maybe making some hot chocolate, or sometimes it's one of the other senses, so listening to Christmas music, tasting the hot chocolate, smelling the different like scents that are connected to Christmas or the holidays. It's little things like that you can do for yourself that is just kind of like that little tinge of,
for sure,
I don't know, value added that kind of makes it a little bit more special. And it sounds a little silly, but it really does.
It works.
Kind of help. It gives you some traction.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Gives you a good place to start for sure. Yeah. So I asked a bunch of questions on my social media and asked for your guys' responses. And I think they were so fun. And so the first question that I asked was for you guys to tell me about your holiday traditions. So I said New Year's or Christmas. And so I'm going to read some of them off for you guys that you gave us. So this one says, second time in 3 years, I've vacationed alone abroad for Christmas week. I love it. That is so fun. I think that this time of year, being abroad is one of the coolest experiences. And I think that people do travel for the holidays, and I just think it's less common for at least like Americans to go abroad this time of year as opposed to like the summertime when it's like warm and they can do all the sightseeing and things. I studied abroad in Italy for the month of January, and I left the day after Christmas when I was in college. And so I got to be in Italy during the holiday season, and it was the coolest experience. And so if you are somebody who does spend the holidays alone, or you're wanting to take on a new tradition, I highly recommend going abroad because that is so, so cool. It is, or at least just doing it sometime. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. This one says the classic Christmas movies like a Die Hard, Star Wars, Lethal Weapons. Okay.
Those are, I feel like that is just such it's so controversial. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie because it takes place at Christmas time? And so when asked what your favorite Christmas movie is, you always hear Die Hard. So it's kind of funny that they mentioned that.
That's a movie?
Die Hard?
I thought he was saying he's a Die Hard Christmas movie.
No. Die Hard.
Oh, okay.
With Bruce Willis. There's like,
that's like a Christmas movie.
It's not a Christmas movie.
It's just a movie
but it
that
takes place during the holidays. And so a lot of people will toss that into the Christmas movie arena.
Okay. I like it. Well, I'll probably have to take on that new tradition then, or at least watch it. This one says Little Christmas, which is 12 school friends, wives, and now kids meet for a roast. It's the 21st this year. That's so fun.
I can't believe how much I've been hearing about roasts lately. I don't know if it's because of the recent Tom Brady roast.
Maybe. That one got a lot of attention.
What's the gal's name? Is it Lisa?
No, but she's everywhere now.
Right. Because of that roast.
Yeah.
She like got named
Yep.
female comedian of the year or
Yep.
something like that,
And
or maybe
she's
just
hosting the
comedian.
Golden Globes.
Yes.
And yeah.
And so roasts have, I mean, been out there forever.
Yeah. But how fun with all of your like forever friends.
I was just at a pickleball party and somebody there was telling me that they did a roast amongst friends.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
You have to have somebody who has a great sense of humor, who is very witty.
Well, it'd be everybody. It's not, they don't just pick one person.
No, this one they did. It was
Oh.
one person who stood up and roasted everybody.
I don't think I have thick enough skin for that. It'd be fun if it was like each person did it.
Had to roast somebody else.
Yeah.
I just think that's a lot to ask if you're not a funny
Oh,
person.
it's one person that roasts everybody?
Yes,
That makes sense, but not one person getting roasted.
correct.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just-
that's
I think
hilarious.
It's a skill set to be able to
Yeah, there would need to be a lot of prep in that.
100%.
That's so fun though. That's such a good idea. This one says Yahtzee with our grandma. That's cute.
In our house, it would be.
One card pass.
Oh, yeah.
That used to be it.
That when grandma was still alive, we
Yeah.
would do one card pass.
Yeah.
Now I feel like we are
It's
either
left, right, center now.
left, right, center.
Yeah. Both great games. Did we make up one card pass?
No. Oh gosh, no.
Oh, so people would know that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then left, right, center. That is such a fun holiday game for
Especially
anybody
if
that
you do it with dollar bills.
especially if you do it for dollar bills. You should be doing it for dollar bills. Otherwise, it's not as fun. We do it with like $3 bills, and then it's a dice game.
3 $1 bills.
Yeah, sorry, 3 $1 bills. And it's a dice game. So you like roll the dice, and then last person with money gets to keep the pot. And it's so fun, especially when you have a big group.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. This one says Chinese food Christmas Eve with family or friends. That was the first time I had heard of that this year.
You're kidding me.
No.
Oh my gosh. That was a tradition that we did for a long time.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was a Jewish tradition.
Chinese food? Oh, good God.
Not that they created it, obviously. I don't know. One of my clients is Jewish, and he said that they were going to do Chinese food, and I just assumed it was gonna,
No.
they don't celebrate Christmas.
I feel like all of the Chinese restaurants in our like close proximity, they
Yeah.
are so busy on Christmas Eve.
Oh my God, funny.
I don't know why.
Why don't
that
we
is
do
such-
that?
Because now we have our family Christmas Eve
Yeah, I guess. Oh,
event that keeps us from being able to do that. But before that came to be, that's what we always did was Chinese food.
oh, I love that. I think that would be so good. I think I'm going to start doing that.
No, you're not, because you're going to be with us on Christmas Eve.
All right, well, I'll bring the
And
Chinese
this year
food.
is the ho 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 down, and we're doing
Yes,
fondue.
yes. We'll tell you our Christmas traditions once we go through a couple more of these. This one said watching It's a Wonderful Life. I don't think I've seen that either.
God. You need to get out from behind your
I
computer.
know. Board games with family and friends. That's a staple. Making Italian pizzale cookies with my daughter. I don't know what those are, but I bet they're good. We buy about 20 tickets to a Christmas concert, then take friends to the concert and dinner. That's cute. I like that. See, okay, so this one says grew up in a Jewish family. Jewish Christmas is movies followed by Chinese food.
On Christmas?
I guess.
Well, earlier you said Christmas Eve.
I know. Well, does that make a difference?
Well, because Jewish people don't celebrate Christmas.
know.
So,
Okay,
yes.
so it's not that far out there that I thought that.
No. I mean, okay. I just think other people other than Jewish people do eat
Okay.
Chinese food on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't. Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll do a couple more. This one says New Year's tradition is staying up till 1 with my dad playing card games. That's so cute. I love that.
Me too. Keep it with your family.
Yeah. I also just saw ones that said that they do the hide the pickle
Oh, yeah.
tradition. Did we ever do that? We
Yeah.
had a pickle.
Yeah.
But did we actually even do the tradition? Because isn't it like whoever finds it, what is it? You open the gift first, or?
Well, okay. Yes, we had the pickle ornament. It got hid so well that I don't know if anybody ever.
It's still in there. What?
I'm not kidding.
Well, we used to do real trees, so I guess it's possible that would have gotten thrown out.
It might have gotten thrown away with the real tree because.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that pickle the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I think that you kind of get creative with what the person that finds the pickle wins. If there's a special gift underneath the tree, or I don't know.
Okay.
But we did do it one year.
Yeah, we did. Okay, last one. Feast of the Seven Fishes. It's an Italian thing. There's a Netflix movie on it I recommend.
Oh.
You know what that is?
I've heard of it.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, and then yesterday I was having lunch with a friend who was telling me about these and I think she said it's Norwegian or Swedish, where you have these poppers. And so you break open the popper and it's a crown, like a paper, like a very thin tissue paper crown. Everybody wears one. And then there's like some sort of little puzzle in the popper. And so that's the tradition that they have with their extended family.
Interesting.
She was telling me that she thought we should do that for our Christmas Eve. I'm like, well, our Christmas Eve always has some sort of theme. This year it's the ho, ho, ho down.
Yes.
And we're doing fondue and we're all wearing our Western get up. And
I have no idea what I'm going to wear.
It said to plan on doing Western crafts and line dancing.
Interesting.
Yes. So my sister hosts Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And she's very creative. And so we never quite know what we're walking into. One year we played Minute to Win It games.
Well, we always play games like that. That's pretty normal. I think a lot of people do those Christmas ish games.
Eggs cracked over your head.
Yeah, that was a trend one year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve. I could have went without that one.
Yeah, I think that's pretty normal. Like a lot of people, like I see those all over social media is the Christmas like fun Minute to Win It type games.
They're good at that. I mean, they seem like they come up with some new ones each year. Yeah.
So we do Christmas Eve at your side of the family's Christmas Eve night. And then we always do Christmas Day at our place with Dad's side. Mm-hmm. And we used to do it at Dad's side, but now we do it here.
Yep. And we open up all of our Christmas presents on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Including the stockings.
Yeah. And I know some people that do it Christmas Eve, which is would seem so backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't open up I shouldn't say that. We end up opening up presents at Jenny's house, at my sister's house.
Yeah.
Because we won't see them on Christmas Day. So we exchange all of our gifts. But when I was growing up and the way that we raised you guys was no presents are opened on Christmas Eve. Everything waits until Christmas morning.
Yeah.
And
which I think just adds to the anticipation of Christmas morning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we always have coffee cake. We always have,
those are our two real traditions, I would say, that I've stuck.
The coffee cake.
Coffee cake and egg bake and Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Right? We don't really have any other traditions outside of that.
And what we do on Christmas Eve and who we have over on Christmas Day.
Yeah, but like outside of that, like actual traditions, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's...
Like we never did Elf on the Shelf or...
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. But the coffee cake and the egg bake, my mom and I are notoriously horrible cooks and bakers and whatever.
Anything that requires us to be in the kitchen, we're not good at.
Yeah, we're so not your traditional wifey material.
Yeah.
But this is the one thing that my mom has perfected to a T after all the years.
Only within the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I am 52 years old and I have tried so hard with I loved baked goods. Like I was put on this earth to consume baked goods. I love them. but I can't make them to save my life. I can't even bake the refrigerated cookie dough that you get.
I literally was just going to tell you that's what I bought from the store today, because we're hosting Christmas at our house the day after Christmas. And I was like, oh, I'll make a bunch of cookies and it'll be so fun. And then I remembered that I don't know how to make cookies or baked goods and make them actually taste good. So I bought the store-bought cookie dough and we're going to call it good.
Yeah. I am absolutely baffled at how I can mess up
we all are.
Simple recipes. Like, I have to follow the directions, the recipe to a T. I have to go so slowly. It's the same recipe every year. And I mean, I have to pay such close attention to be able to get that coffee cake right. And so now that I do know how to do it and I can do it well, now I make several and I give them away to people because it's literally the only thing I know how to make.
Yeah. So
I did make Christmas crack this year.
What's that?
Courtesy of TikTok.
It's puppy chow, isn't it?
No, it is Christmas crack. I think the original recipe was with saltine crackers or some sort of cracker. But the kind of spin on it for 2024 was using like ruffled potato chips.
Okay.
And then you put like a caramel sauce on top that you just make with brown sugar and butter. And then you put chocolate chips and then you put it in the oven long enough for the chocolate chips to kind of get soft. And then you spread it out and it literally, you kind of make a thin layer of all of that. And so you could pick up the entire pan's worth of Christmas crack, and then you would just break it into big pieces. So I made 4 pans of it because it couldn't have been any easier. And I was like, oh, this will be perfect to be able to put it like in little Christmas bags and hand out to the people that I'm working with or whatever. People usually drop off Christmas cookies here. And so I thought, or like delivery men or whatever. And as I was making it, Griffin and Dad were sitting in the kitchen and they're like, ooh. They're like, these potato chips are going to be soggy. And they're both looking at me like I had lost my mind. Although Griffin did tell me compliments to the baker. He's like, that actually.
So they were actually good?
Yeah, you'll have to try them. They're in the kitchen.
Oh, okay. Snazzy.
And I actually didn't I felt like they could have been better. Like they could have been saltier. But the people who I've given them to have sent me texts asking for the recipe.
Oh, okay.
So I've just been sending off the TikTok video that I used.
Yeah.
Couldn't be any easier, but I was kind of proud of myself.
Okay, there you go. I like it. All right. So I also asked, how soon would you bring a new girl to a family holiday dinner? And I gave 4 options. And so the 4 options were after a few dates, after a couple months, when we're serious, or have you met my family? Never. So which one do you think had the most votes? I surveyed over 5,000 men.
5,000 men answered?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Your social media like blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
5,000 men answered that poll?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I would say after a couple months.
A couple months?
Yeah.
Yep. That one was the highest. That was 47%. And then 33% of you said when we're serious. 12% of you said after a few dates. And 7% said, have you met my family?
Yeah. I think especially the holidays, because I feel like the energy is just different, whether it's better or worse, it's different. And so exposing somebody to your family when things are just a little off, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. So
it's just a lot of pressure, like unneeded pressure. Like I just feel like, why add that? I get it. Like if you are both hitting it off really well, but also if it's only after a couple dates, like that's so soon. That's so soon. And think about how much it would suck to then break up like a week after them
Right.
meeting your family, and then all your family, especially if your family liked them, all your family coming back to you being like, oh, when will we get to see them again? And you're like, yeah, she dumped me or I dumped her.
Because of my cray family.
Yeah, no, like it's just kind of unnecessary. Like you can find other times to slowly introduce them.
Yeah.
If it's in the early stage, if you've only been on a couple dates, right?
Yeah.
I think after a couple months, that's fair. And I still know people that would think that that's too soon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 33% of you think that that's too soon. So, but I think that's more appropriate. And I would say that that's where I would fall.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
What other questions did you ask these 5,000 men?
Yeah. I asked, would you take a holiday trip with someone you've only been dating for a month? And the answers were absolutely, maybe if we're vibing, or no, too soon.
Say the question one more time.
Would you take a holiday trip with someone you've only been dating for a month? And the answers were absolutely, maybe if we're vibing, or no, too soon.
All right. Well, as a mom, I'm hoping that more people chose the no, that's too soon. But I'm guessing they didn't.
Which one do you think they chose?
I watch
Absolutely.
a lot of Dateline, and so I definitely wouldn't want my kids going on a vacation with somebody that they knew less than a month. To
Okay.
me, no, absolutely not.
Okay, so which one do you think got the most votes? Absolutely, or maybe if we're vibing?
Maybe if we're vibing.
Yeah, so that one got the most votes. It was 52% of you said maybe if we're vibing, I would go on a trip with somebody that I've only been dating for a month. And then it was almost a tie between absolutely and no, too soon. 26% said absolutely, and 22% said no, too soon.
Yeah. All I would have
I
to
would
say
go.
over my dead body. But
I think
you
it's
seem to have your own, like you have such a strong will. So I said no tattoos. Within I don't know how many days you had a tattoo, and like all the things. Like, so I don't just tell you no because I know that you're gonna do whatever you want anyway. So
I think that this is one, if you've only been dating for a month, I don't know. I kind of think like dating somebody in the early stages is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable. Like you should be enjoying yourself and doing all the fun things.
not at the expense of your safety.
Not at the expense of your safety. Of course not. I definitely don't think that. I've had somebody invite me to like go on a weekend trip before I even knew them.
Shocker. I'm hoping you said no.
I said no. Of course I said no. But I think like if you've been dating for like a month and things are going well, why not?
God.
But I don't know. I guess I understand why that would not be very advantageous. But I just think that, I don't know, depending on the situation,
Yeah.
it could be fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of dynamics that you just have to take under consideration.
Right. Okay, next one I said, what's your biggest holiday dating fear? And the answers I gave were forgetting a gift, awkward family interactions, running into an ex, or nobody to kiss under the mistletoe.
Oh, those are all, I think, legit fears.
But I think
I'm trying to think.
I
From the
think
man's
I think two of them are more so for women, like more so fears of women.
Oh, for me, 100% would be forgetting a holiday gift.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I feel like that's right up there with like forgetting the locker code number, like nightmare.
Like the nightmares.
And forgetting to turn in your homework or actually even going to a class for an entire semester. I have that
You
one
want to know
all the
what
time.
mine always is? It's showing up to a soccer game without my cleats. That's my nightmare. That's my forget the locker code nightmare.
Mine is forgetting to go, not forgetting. It's like almost, it's become intentional that you just don't go to a math class the entire semester. And so day after day after day, you just keep making these excuses and finally get to the end of the semester and you know you're going to fail the class because you never showed up. You never turned in anything. It's like a haunting dream.
I know.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
But I would say forgetting a gift for somebody is like right up there with that.
Yeah, for sure for women. I'm actually really curious. Okay, I'll tell you the answer. So which one? So that one's definitely more women feel that way, I think.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Do you think that would be more for women?
So it was not having somebody kiss under the mistletoe.
Awkward family interactions or running into an ex.
I think the men would probably say running into an ex, and I think the other one for women would be awkward family interactions.
Okay. So which one do you think the men thought or think is the biggest fear? Holiday dating fear.
Running into an ex.
That's the biggest one, you think, for them?
Mm-hmm.
Out of forgetting a gift, awkward family interactions, running into an ex, or nobody to kiss under the mistletoe?
I mean, it's going to be one of the last two, but I feel like they would fear the ex more than not having somebody.
Okay. So you guys voted nobody to kiss under the mistletoe. 45% of you voted that. 30% of you said awkward family interactions.
Wow.
Yeah. 16% said running into an ex. And 9% said forgetting a gift.
That is not surprising.
Yeah, that checks.
Yeah. And
only because the men in our lives, like, it's like you have to
do it for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say I'm glad to see that the percentage is so low on running into an ex, because it just, I think in their minds, what that tells me is that in their minds it's complete and they're confident with the fact that it's complete.
Or they want to see their ex.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I think that that's the one that women would say is a bigger fear. That one and forgetting a gift, I think would be more, those would be highly feared for women, I think. And then I think the awkward family interactions, like that one makes sense for anybody. And then nobody to kiss under the mistletoe, it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Want to talk about some of the holiday do's and don'ts?
Yeah. Yeah. So we thought that we would put together some holiday do's and don'ts from a woman's perspective to kind of help steer you in the right direction for the holidays. This is especially for the people who are recently started dating somebody or started seeing somebody, or maybe you've been seeing them for a while, or I mean, single guys too, or people that aren't in a relationship right now. But I think that these are all things that women really get hung up on around the holidays. And so to save you from any stress or maybe hurt feelings, we thought that this would be a good segment to kind of fill in here. So do show excitement to meet her family if it's the right time, right? Don't, like we said, don't put pressure on meeting family if it's really soon, if you've only had a couple dates. But if you guys have been dating for a couple months, or you're getting close to being pretty serious, show excitement to meet the people that are important to her.
Yeah. And I would say not only showing excitement to her, but also like
to the family
and
the friends.
Make the eye contact, say their name. That is so huge. It's such a little thing, but it makes such a big difference to people.
Yeah.
When you meet someone, say their name back to them so that you're actually, committing it to memory, or hopefully you're, making some progress towards committing it to memory.
Yeah.
Ask them like an open-ended question too, or compliment them on something, or, do something that
Stand out to them.
that doesn't just end with, hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always so obvious to anybody that you're meeting for the first time if you're not interested in actually getting to know them or actually being a part of this new family or group or whoever. So yeah, do your best to really
Engage.
And I just, while you were saying that actually is probably the number one fear for women when it comes to the holidays, but in general, when it comes to dating somebody new, is your family or friends not liking them.
Yeah.
Right. I think
can see that.
Yeah, I think that that's something that girls really worry about. And so do your best to make a good first impression and be social, be super engaged, look like you want to meet these people.
Yeah. And with that all being said, be genuine.
Yeah.
Don't try to be somebody you're not. And I mean, simply remembering or trying to remember somebody's name and asking an open-ended question can be kind of an area of growth for people.
Yeah, totally.
It's not going to, turn you into somebody that you're not. I can't think of anything bad that would come from that sort of a challenge. And I would say 95% of people, upon meeting somebody new, it's normal to feel nervous. It's normal to feel a little self-doubt or have a lack of self-confidence. So these are things that are actually going to help boost the self-confidence. If you can kind of get yourself into that pattern of saying their name back, repeating their name back to them, and following up with an open-ended question.
Yeah, another super, super easy icebreaker and a way to be liked immediately is bring a nice gift, like a hosting gift or a gift for her mom or her dad, wherever you guys are, her friends, right? Bring it for the host, whatever friend is hosting. Flowers, their favorite wine, their favorite type of drink, whatever it is, bring a little gift. You'll instantly be liked by them, and it'll make it easier. It'll make it feel easier to be welcomed into the group. And I also think that you doing that will probably ease your tension in like walking into somewhere new for the first time, because it's not always it's not expected by any means.
Right.
It's like an added touch that is like, it's very thoughtful.
Right. And if there is maybe a story behind whatever it is that you're bringing, like, let's say maybe you're bringing your family's favorite wine,
Totally,
or grandma's banana bread, something like that, so that it gives you an opportunity to kind of share a little bit about yourself and connect. It is those little things that
totally
really
is.
stand out.
Yeah. They will talk about you for hours after you've left. Like, that's what you want.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So for a don't forget or put low effort into gift giving. If you're in the early stages, get her an experience that you can do together. Right. So if you're like really early on in dating, you've only been on a couple dates and you're not so sure about like what to get each other, or if you're even doing gifts or whatever, just get a little experience that you guys can do together, whether it's like you planning out a full date or you getting tickets to somewhere, or that is always the best go-to gift. And this is across the board, doesn't have to be just for the holidays. Like if it's her birthday or whatever it is, that is the best gift that you can go for, is like something that the two of you can do together rather than some materialistic gift. Especially if it's early days and you're still trying to figure out what they even like.
Yeah.
But
highly recommend like concerts. I mean, and you don't have to drop a ton of money on some, touring.
No, it can be like local bands or whatever. Something that's just like you had to put in the effort to go get the tickets to whatever. Those it is something that girls look for. And it's not always like, I mean, it's a red flag if she's asking for like super expensive, like materialistic things in the early stages. But I think that you showing that like you appreciate her, or she's somebody important in your life, and so you wanted to do something with her, or you wanted to get her something that showed that, it never really goes unnoticed, especially in the early stages. Those are things that make girls feel really good, and like you care, you want this to move forward. And I just don't think, like, don't put low effort into the gift giving, even if it is the early stages. Like, make her feel appreciated, make her feel like you value her, like you actually want to be with her. Because putting low effort or getting the gifts the day of, just or
checking the box.
Yeah, just checking the box. Girls will get upset over that.
Yep.
And they will internalize that, and they will remember that.
Yes.
So be careful with that.
Yep.
Okay. Another do is take advantage of the fun season for dates, right? There's fun things going on all over the place right now. Ice skating, Christmas markets, Christmas lights, shows, make cookies together, I mean, whatever it is, you could go
sledding.
You could go sledding. You could go volunteer together. These are all things that like are specific to this time of year that you should totally take advantage of. If you're seeing somebody new, if you've been with somebody for a while, if you're not with anybody and you're looking for a fun date, like take advantage of the things that you can do right now that you can't necessarily do at other points of the year.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a great do.
Yeah. Okay. Don't share your judgments about family around the holidays.
Especially if you're just getting to know the family, or if you've just been introduced at the holidays. Keep in mind that emotions are typically high during the holidays. People aren't acting their normal self. And so there can be other dynamics going on and at play. And so it's very easy to cast judgment. And the reason why we're saying, just watch yourself on that is because even though she knows she's got cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs uncle, she doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's not going to be helpful for you to point that out. She knows that.
Yeah. You don't get to choose your family. And so don't make it worse around the holidays. Don't make her feel like you don't want to be around her family during the holidays. Like, this is something that, she knows. She gets it. And even if she complains, don't add fuel to the fire. Don't do it.
Yeah. I feel like that is like the best advice. I know that it's human nature to want to sympathize, or
well, especially if you care and you agree. Like, if you're like, I've had clients say like her mom treats her horribly, and I have to just sit there, and if it happens again, I'm saying something. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Do not get involved. It is a horrible idea.
Yep.
Support her and love her through it and help her kind of get through it, but do not
gift her with a different perspective.
Yeah.
Like, that is the best gift you could ever give somebody. If she's feeling self-conscious about certain family members, or she's feeling overwhelmed or frustrated about a certain circumstance, help her change the way she's thinking and feeling. It's the best gift you could ever give somebody. Help them see, what's actually perfect about the circumstance. You can help them see what else could be true. Like, you could help them think about it differently instead of pouring fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
That is unnecessary. Right out of the gate, you will stand out to her if you can do that. And it does take practice.
And I think giving another perspective is huge. I don't even think that you need to, like, if you're really struggling with it and you're like, I don't have a different perspective. I hate her mom, or I hate her whoever, right? Like,
or I hate the way they treat her.
I hate the way they treat her. Like, all you need to do is be there in support of her.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
You can simply say, I hate the way this makes you feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to pin it
No,
on
because
the other
at the
person.
end of the day, that's her family. They're always going to be her family.
Yep.
They're not going to be, very rarely
And
will they
newsflash,
get
she'll choose them
choose the
over
family.
you.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, totally. So it's like, it's just like holiday season, like especially like it doesn't matter how frequent or not she sees her family. Like holidays happen every single year, and inevitably you're going to have to be around them at some point.
Right.
And so don't make yourself the enemy with somebody you love. Be her support system and love her through it. Even though it's really hard, love her through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another do is pay attention and plan accordingly.
I added this one because I think that paying attention to what time you're supposed to be there or what the instructions are as far as what you're supposed to bring, or paying attention to once you're there and what kind of help might be appreciated. Like if there's furniture that has to be moved, or if the garbage needs to be taken out, or maybe the pile of boxes and wrapping paper is getting so high, it's like offering to go out and burn it or something. I just think it goes a long way when you notice, A, that there's things that you could help with, and B, you offer to take some of that load off of whoever's hosting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you will get so much mileage out of staying, like paying attention, staying aware of how things are operating, and stepping in to like make yourself useful versus kicking back on the couch, putting your feet up, and having like some sort of expectation that, you're served. And that's probably what the hostess is wanting from you. And I'm not saying you got to throw on an apron and, do all the dishes or something like that, but
Just ask at least once, is there something I can help with?
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference, and it really stands out. Not because you're necessarily taking the load off. It's because you cared and you were paying attention.
Yeah, totally.
That's what makes all the difference.
Totally. Yeah. And planning accordingly is dressing appropriately for church if you're going with her family, making sure that you come hungry if you're going to a meal. Like don't scarf down a bunch of food 20 minutes before leaving and then
Or
sit
even
there
worse,
not hungry.
walk through the front door carrying a drive-through bag.
Yeah.
Not that that's ever happened.
Yeah. Some of these are personal anecdotes and they're important to know. I think that people relate to this, and I just think, again, this is an overwhelming, stressful time of the year. And so people don't usually act like themselves. And so if you can be the one that stands out in a really good way, and you can be the new guy that everyone loves, like take advantage of this opportunity.
Right.
Like
Run with it.
Yeah, totally. Okay. A few more. So we said, don't get overserved.
Yeah. I think, again, at the holidays, especially if you come to our house, I mean, for years, we would do some sort of special cocktail.
Jingle juice.
Or, some sort of.
Oh my God, what was it?
Sangria.
Slush. Wait, what do we call it?
I mean, it started, Grandma and Grandpa started this tradition.
I know,
the
slush?
green slush. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God. I forgot about that.
Yep. And then we would do like over the fall holidays, we would do some sort of like sangria. We've done remember when we did the whipped cream at Easter where you put, God, I can't believe
that's not drinking.
No, the drinking would escalate into these kind of drinking type games.
Yeah.
I look back on that. Obviously, I've gotten wiser and sober.
Yeah.
So now I have a lot of judgment, a lot of thoughts on that. But I think
for yourself, not for other people.
right. Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I would have been more thoughtful about the kind of hostess I was, like, and the amount of drinking that I did. It's like, just because it's there and it's being offered, you don't have to have it. I'm not saying don't take it if you want it, but just be really mindful of how much you're drinking.
Yeah, it's the same. This is the same for going on new dates or meeting somebody for the first time or whatever. Like, do not get drunk and sloppy. It is one of the biggest turnoffs, and I get it. The holidays can be really hard because, especially if your family likes to drink or her family really likes to drink, and everybody's doing it and everybody's encouraging
Yeah,
it.
just pace yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't be the drunkest one at the place.
And you don't have to be the one that's not drinking if that's not your
yeah,
style.
no, you can still drink and you can still have a good time. Just like, don't be the sloppy one that people have to take care of.
Right. Yep.
Especially in a new setting, especially if you're meeting them for the first time. It's not a good look.
Right.
Yeah.
What else do you got?
Okay, last one. Do be helpful. I guess we covered that with pay attention, be helpful, offer to help with the little things like cleaning, refilling drinks, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Be helpful.
Yeah, I would say one of the best pieces of advice that I could give is engage. Stay engaged. Like, even if you have to insert yourself in some of the conversations, you know, you can do it in a non-awkward way, or offer like information or insight into yourself.
Yeah.
I think that it just goes a long way. The holidays are, you know, if you're at a family event, it is such a great opportunity to allow people to get to know you. You don't want to be the new person that was brought to the event and you leave and nobody knows anything more about you than from, you know, when you came. And so,
And pro tip for those of you who are more on the introverted side and engaging with a new group sounds terrifying, bring a game to wherever you're going and let that be the way that people get to know you. It's super easy. You'll get everybody involved. So it's not just everybody grilling you with questions because you're the new guy, right? Like, bring a game. Like, what are some of the games? Like, even just like Cards Against Humanity, or like, it doesn't really matter what type of game.
I don't know. That Cards Against Humanity can get kind of raunchy.
It is raunchy and it's hilarious.
Yeah, but probably not the best game to be bringing to
you have to know your crowd for sure. You have to know
to apples.
Okay, apples to apples.
Cribbage.
If you don't know,
cribbage, I would say sometimes is a good one because
that's only 2 people though, or like 4 max.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's I would not pick Cards Against Humanity.
Okay. There's tons of games like that though. There's tons of like social games that will get people involved and actually talking and having conversation.
Honestly, I would say make a decision ahead of time with the gal who's bringing you home.
Well, yeah. You don't have to
just like walk in and, hey guys, I got Cards Against Humanity.
Okay, don't go get a game and make it a secret and then surprise jump scare everyone with it. No, obviously not.
Well, that's kind of how you set it up.
No, bring a game, consult the girl you're going with if that's a good game for her family. Okay, and then just like say, like when you walk in, I brought a game. I brought a fun game that I've played before with my family, or I played with my friends.
That even seems weird too. He walks in and he says, I brought a fun game.
Why does that seem weird?
I don't know.
If somebody came into our house, if I brought somebody over and they brought a game and they're like, yeah, I brought this. It's a game that we play.
Flowers.
Nice.
I'm kidding. I'm just saying it seems weird that would be the first thing he says when he walks through the door.
Oh my God. It doesn't have to be the first thing he says.
Okay, well, you're giving a pro tip, and so they're probably like taking notes.
Jesus. This is ridiculous. It's common sense. It's a good way to engage with a new group. I think that's the easiest way to get to know somebody and for them to get to know you. Is a very low pressure, like fun way without you having to insert yourself into conversations if you're an introvert.
Okay, I see what you're saying, that for introverts, games make it easier for people to get to know you. I get that.
Okay. So those are your holiday do's and don'ts.
Should we end with?
Yeah, let's end with a couple of submissions.
Okay. So I thought this was a really good one. We titled it Rejected for Something I Can't Control. How do I stay hopeful in dating? Hi, Gracie and Tracy. I'm 36 and I've been single for about 4 years. I've tried dating apps and meeting women while out with friends, but lately it feels like I keep hitting the same wall. I'm getting rejected because of my height. I'm 5'6", and it seems like every woman these days wants a guy over 6 feet tall. It's gotten to the point where I'll talk to someone for a week, ask them out, and they'll agree, only to follow up with, wait, how tall are you? After that, things usually fizzle out. This has been really tough for me. I recently deleted my dating apps and decided to stop approaching women altogether because the constant rejection over something I can't change is so discouraging. I would love to find someone, start a family, and fall in love, but it's hard to stay optimistic when my height feels like an automatic disqualifier. Do you have any advice on how I can navigate this or change my approach? Thanks so much, Anonymous.
Yeah, this is a good one. I get this question all the time on social media. It's always, and I get it. Like, there's so much rhetoric out there that girls only want tall guys. And like, for one, it's not true. It's simply not true. I get it. I know that there's like hype about it on social media, and you hear girls say that, and you probably, I'm not saying that you haven't had this experience of girls telling you that they prefer somebody taller. And I know that, like, if you're under 6 feet, this can be a struggle. And I would say for guys that are on the shorter side, dating apps probably aren't your best bet because they're a very polarizing place for people to make snap judgments. And the height thing, while yes, that can be something that women tend to disqualify you over at first glance, it's not like that in real life. And when you meet somebody in person, you might have to allow your other qualities to shine brighter than your height, but it shouldn't be looked at as a major barrier, because any girl that is so dead set on, which I think you'd be surprised at how much less of a like disqualifier this really is to women. But if you come across women that are like, I won't date a guy under 6 feet tall, okay, bye. There's the door.
I know.
Like,
it says a lot about her.
Yeah, it totally does.
And that's the same woman who's going to have, hair color be a disqualifier, or job title be a disqualifier. So
exactly,
you don't want to be with somebody who is that superficial.
No.
And I think that, I hear your stats on how many women are on, how many men are on the dating apps, and how women have the advantage. So they don't have to, but they are using this as a filter. Right? They have so many men to choose from. And so if they're looking for their quote unquote ideal, they probably will use it as a way to filter.
Totally.
So don't put yourself in a place to be filtered out, because you know that there are so many other characteristics and that, you've got going for you that she's not even going to get a chance to see, because you're going to be filtered out based on the height factor.
Yeah. And if you are going to be on dating apps, be strategic about it. You can't change the fact that most of them mandate you having your height on there, but you also can be strategic about the photos that you choose. And to be very, very honest, I never really looked at the height to be honest. It was when it was very obvious in your photos that you're really short. That was the only time that it would cross my mind on the dating apps. because most of the time I wasn't looking at the height as a factor. I'm short. I'm 5'3". And so most guys are taller than me.
That's
so it
what I
really
was gonna
wasn't.
say. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if women, I shouldn't say this because obviously he's had this experience that women are looking for men 6 feet tall and taller, but I would guess that it's really women want men taller than them.
Yeah, that's more what it is, for sure. That's more what it is. And I think that even so, like, I don't remember her name, but there are like hot supermodels that are tall as shit and they have short, what?
The chick that we couldn't remember her name last week.
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. She is way
taller than Keith Urban. And there's like Victoria's Secret models. Most of the Victoria's Secret models have shorter boyfriends because they're tall.
Why are you screaming? God.
Because this is such, like, I hear this from men so often, and it's such a crippling factor for them, they think, in their dating lives. And it's so much less of a factor than you actually think for girls that are actually looking for something serious.
Yeah.
I think that it is really easy to run into this more often on the dating apps where they have the luxury of being picky, and they have the luxury of disqualifying you over something like your height.
Right. Don't let them do that. Get off the dating app. I think that if you really kind of tackle this in two parts, the first would be like owning your confidence and really starting to focus on your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
So you are clearly self-aware, you're thoughtful, which is a great quality. I would think about other things that you bring to relationships, like humor or kindness or your ambition or your whatever the shared interests may be.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that are going to build the lasting connections. I would also say start working on how you internalize rejection, because dating is about compatibility, right? It's when someone doesn't see your value, that's not about you.
Right.
That is about their preference. That's it. So let them weed themselves out early so that you can focus on finding the one amazing person that's going to appreciate everything you're bringing to the table.
Totally. Yeah.
And then I would also really reframe your perspective. So instead of viewing your height as a disadvantage, see it as a filter. So the women who are dismissing you based on your height probably would not be a good fit for you anyways.
Right.
So you don't want to be investing time and energy and money into someone who values external traits over who you actually are as a person.
Totally.
That is the kind of mindset that you've got to work on.
Yeah.
And that's going to change a lot. But then there's also more of the tactical approaches, like, okay, maybe get off the dating apps, because we do know that it's an easy filter for women and they have the luxury of being able to filter. Any other tactical tips that you have?
I mean, just be big in other ways, in your personality, in the way you show up in a room, in your humor, in like hit the gym, go get physically like fit and start bulking up. Like there are things that are within your control that if you feel like this is such a barrier, like start doing things about it in these ways. I promise you, it is not as big of a disqualifier as you may think. I know it's hard sitting on that side and feeling like girls are always rejecting you because of your height. And if you've been on the dating apps, I'm sure you've had a fair amount of it, but in real life, for girls that are looking for actual partners who are looking for a real relationship, they're not going to disqualify you solely on your height.
Nope. I would say some of the most successful, confident, happily partnered men that we know who are under 5'7" are the same men who have confidence. They look you in the eye. They're
so fun to be around.
Yes, they're genuinely interested in
Yeah.
you. They own everything about themselves.
They don't make it a problem.
No, it's like, you might be 5'7". Why is that a problem?
Yeah.
If you think it's a problem, that's where you're going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I would actually put it out there. Like, if you're going to stay on the dating app, I would put it in your profile. Like, you may be...
Make a joke about it?
Yeah, you may be fun sized, but you are also the guy that like values fun experiences, or I don't know, but I would do something that sets the tone early that you know that this can be a disqualifier, but you don't want to be disqualified based on something so superficial.
Yeah.
Like, and something you can't control. Like, I think that there's ways that you can get that out and upfront if you want to stay on the dating apps.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that shows that you own it and that you've got a sense of humor and that it doesn't bother you.
Yeah. And just don't use photos with all of your like extremely tall friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, lastly, dating obviously is a numbers game. So stay optimistic. Rejection is always going to be part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And so the more you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, whether that's in your careers, whether that's in your family life, your hobbies, the more confident and fulfilled you are going to feel. And that energy is so attractive.
Yeah, for sure.
So Anonymous, I would stay hopeful. I would stay optimistic that the right person will love all of you, not despite your height. They are going to love everything about you that is authentically you, including your height.
Yeah, totally.
So keep putting yourself out there. Don't let a few shallow rejections make you forget how much it is that you actually have to offer.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Okay, last one. We titled this, How Do I Tell Her I Haven't Dated in 14 Years Without Scaring Her Off? Hi, Gracie and Tracy. What's the best way for a guy to tell a girl that he hasn't been in a relationship for 14 years? I feel awkward bringing it up because honestly, I'm a bit embarrassed. My previous financial struggles were a big factor in that dating drought, and I feel like getting past this explanation would help move things forward. A little about me, I'm 39, work in portfolio management, and I'm taller than most guys at 6'7". I enjoy skiing, lifting weights, riding motorcycles, doing handiwork, trying new restaurants, and exploring new places. I'd really appreciate your advice on how to approach this conversation in a way that doesn't feel like I'm oversharing or making it a bigger deal than it needs to be. Thanks, Anonymous.
Well, I think that there's should be no shame in your dating history. I think the fact that you're reflecting on how to share it shows a lot of self-awareness and thoughtfulness. I think those are both huge positives in a relationship.
Yeah.
I think the key here is to approach the conversation in a way that's honest, that is confident, and that frames the whole experience as a reflection of like how far you've come.
It's all about how you frame it.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
This is all about how you frame it. If you talk about it,
a drought, like,
yeah, if you talk about it like it's been a drought, or like there's something wrong with the fact that you've been single for 14 years, or you just can't find a relationship, or like, obviously it's going to become a problem. Don't talk about it that way, right? You have a lot of great things going for you. You have all of these things in your life that...
And what came to be because of the fact that you could be laser focused on, because you didn't have to be laser focused on a relationship. What are all of the things that have been created in your life? Maybe it's, you've overcome the financial struggles. Maybe you've built your career. Like, these are the things that happened because you had given more attention to those areas. Like,
yeah,
it's a great way to frame it.
Exactly. Yeah. You can just talk about how you've prioritized other things in your life, and you're now ready to prioritize dating and you're taking it seriously. And so,
yeah, I think about like I mean, obviously this would have been a really long time ago, 30 years to be exact. But if I heard, if a man said to me, I haven't been in a relationship in a while or for a long time because I was focused on like stabilizing my career, getting my life into a place where I felt really proud,
yeah.
getting myself into a place that I'm proud of. I
Checkmate.
mean, yeah, I would be like, oh my God, how did I get so lucky? Because
Sign me
that's
up.
exactly what you want to hear. You
Totally.
want to hear that it was intentional.
Yeah.
That you were prioritizing things.
Yeah.
Like that's the way you can frame this up. This is an opportunity to frame it up in a way that you might not have went into it with that, but you can actually ask yourself right now, how has it actually been perfect?
Yeah.
How is it perfect that I had a lot of time to focus on my career, to focus on whatever, overcoming financial struggles? Like,
yeah.
So,
and don't self-deprecate. Don't talk about yourself in a negative way for the because you haven't been in a relationship. Don't always make remarks about, well, this is my first time. So like, none of that's needed.
Yeah.
Like you can very confidently talk about this life that you've built for yourself and how you're now ready to share it with someone.
Yeah. And you also don't have to approach it as a confession. Like,
right.
It is what it is. You can talk about, I haven't been in a long-term relationship, or I haven't been in a serious relationship for the past 14 years. Move on. Like it doesn't have to be something that you're dwelling on, and it certainly doesn't have to be something that you're apologizing for.
Yeah, totally.
I think the most important thing is that the right person is going to appreciate your journey, and she's going to value your thoughtfulness, your growth, and like the fact that you're now ready for a relationship because you have been through so much and you've clearly set your priorities, and now you are at the point in time where you're probably going to devote the same kind of time, effort, and energy now onto this priority. And I think that woman is probably going to feel like she, hit the jackpot. And so conduct yourself, posture yourself in that way.
Yeah.
And then keep us posted.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear how your dating life unfolds when you really make some of those shifts.
Yeah. Yeah. Have confidence in where you're at and where you're headed, and kind of all you need. You don't need to get hung up on these little things. It is, if you start talking about it like it's not a problem, it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes our Christmas edition. Hopefully this has been a little bit of a gift, something maybe a little bit unexpected, something that you can find some takeaways from. That was our hope. Keep us posted on all of the progress, even if you are somebody that hasn't written in, but you have taken some of the advice and used it and have benefited from it. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to feature you in our newsletter. And now we're kind of on to the new year. We'd love to hear what your New Year's resolutions are in your dating life. So what are your dating New Year's resolutions?
Yeah. You can leave us a comment under the show, or you can send it in as a submission.
Yeah. And if you want to gift us something, please send this on to a friend who needs it, or you could leave us a review.
Rate us, review us, send it to a friend. All of it helps. We want this podcast to help as many single men out there as possible. So send it around, send it to your single buddies, give them the gift of their new favorite podcast, and it'll be our gift from you as well.
All right. Well, take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Just Ask Her. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to rate and review us. And be sure to follow Gracie on TikTok and Instagram at @datingwithgracie. Thanks again for listening.